Happy Sunday night, guys. Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with another live stream fishing show ready for you guys. Looking forward to spending another Sunday night doing our live stream show. We are live here at Hubbard's Marina. We're going to get started on the show very shortly. I appreciate y'all tuning in and hanging out with us here at Hubbard's Marina. I appreciate it. We're going to get started here very shortly. And thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. Looking forward to another great show. Having a little trouble connecting here to Facebook. Give us a second. We're going to try a few things, see if we can get this going for y'all. Hang on one second, guys. We'll be right with you guys. Sorry about that. Having a little technical difficulty. We'll be back up running shortly. Thanks for your patience, guys. We're going to be starting here shortly. Sorry, guys. Having a little bit of issue here. We're going to get this fixed up for you. Give us 1 second. Bear with me, guys. Still trying to get this all worked out. I apologize for the delay. Sorry about that, guys. A little bit of a delay. Lots of issues tonight. I feel like it didn't want me to go live, but I'm powering through it, and we're going to make this happen. Sorry for the delay, folks. All right. We're going to get started here in just 2 seconds. Thanks for your patience, YouTubers. Wasn't letting me connect to Facebook all of a sudden. So, got that worked out, thankfully. All right, we're ready to rock. All right, guys, happy Sunday night. Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, and we're a few minutes late tonight. Unfortunately, had some technical difficulties again. Facebook was being a little difficult tonight, but we got it worked out for y'all, and we're getting our live stream fishing show started up here. And tonight we're going to be giving away free fishing trips. We're going to be talking about fishing tips, tricks, and more. And we're going to be showing some videos and talking all about fishing. So hopefully you guys have some questions lined up for me. Hopefully you're ready for a great night and another good show. And hopefully someone's ready to win some free fishing trips. Because we got some to give away tonight. We're going to give away a 5-hour half day for 2, a 10-hour all day for 2, and we're going to give away a half price 39-hour trip. So not a free 39-hour trip unless we hit 300 live viewers, but we are going to give away a half price 39-hour trip. So still a great deal, and I appreciate everybody tuning in and spending their Sunday night with us. We got some good videos lined up for y'all, some cool photos, and we're going to talk a lot about fishing. Make sure you like the video. Don't forget to share the video on your timeline. Share it with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I appreciate y'all helping us out. Spread the word there. Gonna be a great show for y'all. Remember, Hubbard's Marina started back in 1928, so over 90 years and 4 generations we've been fishing local waters, And tonight we're going to share some of that information and our tips and tricks with you guys and answer any questions you have. I appreciate your patience tonight as you tune in here. I apologize for being a little behind. It was a little difficult to get started. I apologize for that. But we got the problem worked out. Now, this is our last live stream show for a week, or 2 weeks actually. We're going to be gone for 2 weeks. Our next one won't be till June 9th. So hopefully you guys get to enjoy tonight. I'm glad we were able to make it happen because this is going to be our last one for a little bit of time, because next week I got to travel for a cousin's confirmation. His sponsor and his confirmation, and then also the week after I have a National Marine Fisheries meeting. So this is our last live stream show until June 9th. So thanks for tuning in. And to celebrate that, commemorate that, we're going to give away a free 39-hour trip if we hit 300 live viewers. And if we don't hit 300 live viewers, we're still going to give away a half-price 39-hour plus a free 10-hour all-day for 2 and a 5-hour half-day for 2. So lots of free trips, lots of tips and tricks, photos and videos coming your way very shortly. We're just getting this thing rolling here and sharing it out. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Post it to your timeline. Don't forget to comment on the Facebook video. That's how you get entered to win free stuff. You do have to comment on the Hubbard's Marina video. If you're watching on the Captain Dylan Hubbard page, on the Smoky and Dusty page, on the Vibrations Tackle page, on the Florida Fishing Radio page, you do have to search for Hubbard's Marina on Facebook. Find our page, find the video, and comment at least once. And if you'd rather watch on YouTube, you can still watch on YouTube, but you have to at least comment on Facebook once. Can everybody hear me okay? Sound check. Hopefully everybody can hear me fine. I got the microphone figured out, so my voice should be a lot... volume is low, I'm hearing. So how about now? Is that a little better? Can you hear me? Can you hear me better now? I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. So let's get started. And let's talk about fishing. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate y'all spending your Sunday night with me and hanging out. Hopefully you can hear me a little better than last week. We had some sound issues, so we turned up the volume on you a little bit. So hopefully the sound's not too loud for you guys, but I want to make sure you can hear me. And we're going to show some videos and talk about fishing and show you what we've been catching. We've been doing really well out there. We had 12-hour night snapper this past weekend. We had a 44-hour trip out there. We had a 39-hour trip this past midweek, Tuesday 39-hour, and we got super light 39 hours coming up this week. But let's see what they've been catching out there. Let's look at some photos and look at some videos. So here is a big old African pompano. This is Milos, better known as Mickey, showing off a big African pompano from that 39-hour trip. He caught that one on the Tuesday midweek 39-hour. Just a truly monster African pompano for sure. These things are super good eating. Really nice fish. We got some big gag grouper. Had to catch and release those guys. Some big red snapper. Had to catch and release those guys, but not too much longer. June 1st is right around the corner, and we're going to be able to take these guys home in just another 2 weeks. And some big kingfish. This 44-hour trip this weekend, the pelagic bite really, really picked up. I mean, we got big kingfish. We got some big blackfin tuna. Definitely seeing that pelagic bite show up. Also, mahi-mahi. We've been seeing the mahi-mahi on our 12-hour extreme trip. We've seen them on a few 39-hour trips. So mahi-mahi are back in the area. Kingfish are biting well in the deep offshore waters. We're seeing the tuna pick back up in the deep offshore waters. So this was all good news that we got this morning. Whereas this past Friday, we were saying the pelagic bite was a little slow. So it's good to see that change around for us. Another shot of that big kingfish. And this is not the same fish. This is a different fish. These guys, this is this is David Sorrells from South Carolina and South or North Carolina. I apologize, David. It's one of the two. It's one of the Carolinas, but he caught a couple kingfish that were real nice. And then his son that was with him caught some nice tuna, which we're going to see here too. This is Damien. He's kind of straight arming this porgy a little bit, but it's still nonetheless a very big porgy without holding it in front of that GoPro lens. But the fisheye lens and him having his elbow out a little bit definitely makes that fish look monstrous. Good advertising photo. Here's Drago with a nice kingfish. You can tell this is on the troll. The trolling definitely picked up for us on this 44-hour trip over the weekend. I don't know if it was the full moon, if it was the clear water, what it was, but the trolling this weekend, the trip got in this morning. The trolling was really good. They got nice kings, some nice blackfin tuna, Rapala X-Wraps, and the skirted plugs were the two big winners, catching a lot of the fish. This is David Sorrell's son, showing off one of the blackfin tuna. He caught two blackfin tuna on this trip. He caught one trolling, that Rapala X-Wrap Magnum 30, and then he caught his other one flatline in a live pinfish, a tail-hooked pinfish with that 50-pound fluorocarbon and that 5/0 circle hook. Caught that second tuna flatlining. Now keep in mind, we have super light 39-hour trips this coming Tuesday. We've got like 16 people on it, and then this coming Friday we have another light load, like just over 20. So if you want to come out and take advantage of this really good pelagic bite we're seeing, great opportunity to do trolling, to do flatlining, knocker rigging, whatever you want to do, because they're super light loads. The mangrove bite was really good for us yet again. Some big flounder we ran into there, some fat mangroves, some real nice mangrove snapper, and then this is the flatline tuna that David Sorrell's son and him caught. Nice thick tuna. That one's actually bigger than the one that they caught on the troll, so pretty cool to see those big tuna popping up there, you know. A lot of people are saying what color. The color that I like on the Rapala X-Wraps are the sardines and the mackerel. There's blue and green sardine and blue and green mackerel. Just the more natural colors is what I prefer, and that's what we catch a lot of the tuna on. The kingfish, the wahoo, they seem to like that red head, white body, and we do catch some tuna from time to time on the red head, white body as well. But I personally, if I was going to troll one of them, I like trolling the more natural colors, either the mackerel or the sardine pattern. Caught some nice triggerfish. Unfortunately, they are closed. They're closed for the year, May 11th, so they were catch and release. Here's another big kingfish by the Sorrells family. Nice one right there. Nice little Toro. Pretty unique looking one, and that's a big one too. And here's the pile of fish after the trip. They did very well out there. They got a lot of nice fish. And we're going to show you here the pile of fish. See if I can't pull this up without screwing anything up. There we go. Here we go. Here's the pile of fish from that trip. I'm going to switch it to just the screen. Good morning, guys. Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with our 44-hour full moon catch. They did very well. They got some nice pelagic, some kingfish, some tuna. Look at that one. Nice fish, Jay. Doing a dance for us. And they got lots of snapper, too. Some good fish from that 44-hour full moon trip. Red grouper in there. Big porgy. Holy, look at the size of that porgy. We got big porgy. Big porgy. Big old king. Big old tuna. Looks like a good trip, Will. How'd you guys do out there?
Good trip again. We great fishing at night, and it's switching around. We had good fishing in the daytime earlier this month. Now it's better at night, and we're picking at them in the daytime. We got these big porgies and stuff, several grouper in the daytime, and all the pelagics came in the daytime as well.
The pelagics were on the flat line or the trollers?
We got one tuna trolling on the way out, and big kingfish trolling on the way out. Actually, I think he's still in the box, right?
Yeah.
The biggest one is buried in the very bottom of that box. I forgot about it. But good fishing, good trolling. The trolling's picking up right now, and good flat line too. We had a little current out there, and it made good for a flat line.
So the current really helped bring that flat line out and stretch it out there and kind of help them be more successful.
Yeah, the sorrels were flatlining over there in the corner, and they got the 2 kings and 2 tunas.
Nice. What was the flat line using? What were they using? The dead threads?
Yeah, they were using dead threads.
They used a live pin fish for one of them.
And they did, they were mixing it up.
Dead threads, live pins. How about the troller? What trolling bait was hot?
Troller was hot. Are you using it spare? Rapala, X-Rat.
Yeah,
X-Rat. Nice, man. Some good fish. Any other things you can report from this trip? Some big vermilions.
Yeah, big vermilions. We got more big porgies than we've had in a while. That's not necessarily one of them, but we got some 10-pound porgies right in there, yeah. And some yellowtails. Pretty good fishing out there.
Yeah.
Great nighttime fishing. Big flounder over there. We don't see them very often. I don't know where he came from.
Let's see that flounder. Oh, nice. That is a big flounder. Very cool. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Nice fishing for sure. More like catching than fishing. Now, guys, if you want to do your own 39-hour or 40 trip, we've got that 39-hour trip leaving that video. There we go. Pretty good catch, though. I mean, as you can see, they did real well out there, and they ended up having a nice catch for sure. And we look forward to some more 39-hour trips this week. Again, we've got a super light 39-hour trip coming up Tuesday, and then we've got another super light trip coming up Friday as well. So a lot of good options for you guys if you're thinking about doing one of those 39-hour trips for us, or with us, I mean. But let's show you the video of that African pompano, that big African pompano we caught. We got the video here of them landing that fish. So this is pretty cool how pumped up he gets. And understandably so. That African pompano was quite the fish, and definitely one that you won't soon forget. So cool video of him landing that fish coming at you.
You got it, Cliff.
I got a pompano, baby. You ready, Cliff?
So this is the first video. He's going to get color, and that's how he knows it's a pompano. But then it's going to take another run, and the video is going to cut out because we're helping him and moving around and stuff. So check it out.
Holy shit.
Keep him outside of the boat. Oh, my bad. I forgot, my bad.
I don't know if you can hear it, but that drag is screaming. So he had it all the way up, saw color, and then that fish took a big dive back down. 30-pound test. So he's mangrove snapper fishing, probably with a chunk of thread fin. Got the Bass Pro Shops reel going on.
I just don't want it to go all over the place.
Reel! I got it.
We got it.
Yes, you can eat them that size, Adam. They're good eating, even when they get big. Still diving, still taking drag. Man, that is a big fish. Alright, so let's cut to the second one. Another nice, see, he's finally got it back to the surface. You can see color on the fish. He had a flat line wrapped around his line, so we slacked that flat line off so that braided line wouldn't cut him off. Here it comes. close to the surface. This was a long fight. Those African pompano are super good eating. There it is.
Yeah, baby! Oh, yeah! Oh, my God!
Beautiful fish.
Yeah, boy, on a chicken rig!
That is a great fish. That is Milos who caught it. Here's another shot of it. He's going to hold it up in this
Nice
video.
big African pompano here in the our day bite out here. Milo, how you feel about that one?
That's an awesome. That's right there, my friend.
Nice. Nice. All right.
Nice fish for sure. Beautiful catch. That's definitely one you write home about for sure. Here's a big kingfish video. This is the kingfish that they caught on the flat line. Check this one out.
Kingfish. Get him a little close. Let him run one more time. Big king. Now, then next time, just to get a big lift on him. When he gets right close to the boat, go high lift. 16. He looks a little small. Yeah, you can hold him.
Oh, that can.
There you go. They will. I'm afraid I'm wrong.
Larry, sorry I kind of pigeonhole there.
It died.
That stay right? Huh?
It died.
Nah, it's just being went black.
Is it still going?
Nice king for sure. Scream and drag on him.
Hey, Jacob, is that good for you on that, man?
Yeah, it is.
It's coming up. That's all right now.
It's coming back up.
Now this is Jason on the gaff. You guys know what happened last time. Jason tried to gaff a big king. Perfect headshot.
Good job. Good job.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's healthy.
How you turn this off?
Nice king, right, for sure. Beautiful catch. Here's the guys stacking the fish. So periodically through our 39-hour trips, we keep all your fish cold for you in the fish box, but periodically through those trips, we catch a large amount of fish. So what we have to do is we pull all the stringers out of the box, tie them off, and then we layer those fish in ice. That way those fish are under the ice a majority of the trip, and they're well layered and insulated with ice. So we'll fish a little bit through the night, we'll fill that box up, then we'll pull those stringers out, tie them off, then dig down to the bottom of the box, throw the fish in, and then layer ice on top of them. Catch more fish, then pull those out of the box, tie off the stringers, bury those in another box, so on and so forth until you have fish, ice, fish, ice, fish, ice, until the box is topped off. And a lot of times on these 39 and 44-hour trips, we'll top off 1, 2, maybe even 3 fish boxes. So this is a video, a little testimonial from a guy from the East Coast why we're doing that. We're packing fish at the end of the night. So here's a quick video for you with a little pile of fish in the background. And this is just a portion of what they caught on that 44-hour trip.
Yeah. All right, guys, headed back in here. This is our afternoon pile of fish right here. We got Daryl out here with us from the East Coast. He learned a few things here this weekend. Yeah, I did. Florida boy, grow up on the East Coast of Florida, fishing, love it. Got a great knowledge of fishing on the West Coast of Florida from the crew out of Hubbard Marina this weekend. Outstanding. Can't wait to come back.
Hey, I gotta give it to Daryl. He actually paid attention, and he fished like we fished during the night. He threw a little East Coast flair on her, and he got it done.
Grouper, last spot.
Yeah, fished every spot.
Yeah, cold bait, very cold, very fresh, like Jason instructed, and it worked.
There you go.
Nice.
Get it in.
A little East Coast flair to it, that's for sure. It was cool. We had some guys from the East Coast of Florida drive over and do that 44-hour full moon trip with us, and they caught some nice grouper and snapper and had a good time out there. So always good to have our friends from the East Coast. Here we're going to rip through the rest of these photos real quick. This was from our Bass Pro Shop seminar this past Saturday. They let me stand on top of the fish tank and talk to everybody and feed the fish. This is my favorite part about going to Bass Pro. If you only come for the seminars, you miss the beginning part where they let me feed the fish. It is a lot of fun standing on top of that tank and throwing the fish their food. Those redfish and those big bass, they come up to the surface and they pop that bait and splash around. It's pretty crazy. And here is the lucky winner of the 5-hour half day for 2, a very happy young angler and her mother. So it was great to see some young anglers out there winning some free fishing trips. And then a happy angler in his 10-hour all-day fishing trip. And that's my parking spot out front of Bass Pro. They let me keep the truck right out front. So shout out to Tampa Bass Pro for letting me do that. But here is some fish from our 10-hour trip. Let me zoom in here. This is a 10-hour all-day big blackfin tuna that we caught this week. This is from our 12-hour night mangrove snapper trip. Those 12-hour night mangroves have been doing pretty well out there. That 12-hour night trip on the quarter moon, not this past Friday, not the most recent trip, but the last one, they did really well on the mangroves, probably close to 75, if not a little bit more, mangrove snapper. They got some nice lanes, and they got a bunch of vermilions too. This most recent 12-hour night snapper on the full moon didn't do as well on the mangroves. It was kind of a tough mangrove snapper bite, but the mangrove snapper they did catch were very large. However, the full moon 12-hour night snapper did catch a ton of the vermilions and lane snapper. They had a lot of fish. It just wasn't the mangrove snapper that we were going after. But all in all, it ended up being a nice trip, and we got some big fat mangroves for sure. For a 12-hour night snapper, not going as far from shore as our 39-hour trip, these are some nice quality mangroves. And we got that ever so rare nighttime keeper red grouper, which is fairly rare for those red grouper, but they go out over the hard bottom and shell bottom at night to scavenge for those crustaceans. So pretty cool to see a keeper red grouper at night on that 12-hour night mangrove snapper. Definitely a nice bonus. This guy right here is the gentleman who caught it. He walked off the boat this morning with some mangroves, lane snapper, vermilion snapper, and this keeper red grouper. So he had a really nice looking stringer after that 12-hour night. This is our dock master, Rob, showing off a nice snook. He went out fishing with our bait guy, Brian Harris, who normally does those inshore videos for us for the nights or for these live stream shows. Brian Harris was doing a tournament this weekend, so we couldn't get him to do a video for us, unfortunately. But him and Rob and him and Butch Canerium have been out there fishing quite a bit, catching a lot of these snook. They're even starting to pick up the tarpon. Definitely a great time of year to start targeting those snook in the passes and on the beach. Today, the water clarity was insane inside John's Pass. We had a lot of clear water brushing through the pass, and that brought with it a lot of bait. This morning there was a ton of bird action. You're going to see that in the video here with Joe. We're going to do a interview with Captain Joe, and you'll see all the birds in the background. But all that bait definitely brought a lot of life into the pass, and that clear water made it easy to spot all day today. Every time I walked to the bathroom, going down the catwalk, I was watching snook after snook after snook. swim down the seawall of the pass out into the beach. So a lot of snook heading out there onto the beach right now, and a great time to go target them in the passes. And here's another look at that 10-hour all-day 10-hour all-day blackfin tuna, and this is the gentleman who caught it. Really nice tuna, and a nice gentleman who caught it too. So really cool to see that. But like I said, the bite is definitely getting really good. Offshore for the pelagics, we're seeing the kingfish, the tuna, and the mahi start showing up too. So let's talk to Captain Anthony about his 12-hour extreme trips and see how he's been doing on the Flying Hub 2. How you doing, Captain Anthony?
Doing good, good.
How was that? I know you've been running a lot of charters on the Flying Hub 2. How's they been going?
They've been doing good. We've been doing a lot of grouper fishing, getting a lot of big red grouper, a lot of big red snapper, a lot of big gags. We're looking forward to red snapper season, that's for sure.
Yes, sir. Now, are the scamps cooperating for you real well, or are you fishing inshore a little bit more? Because that red grouper bite seems to be moving inshore.
I haven't really seen too many scamp, but then again, I really haven't been going further offshore like I would be during red snapper season. I've been really fishing under about 170 foot. We did go out to 200 foot the other day. We went out there. We had a couple mangoes that were like 25 inches.
Whoa.
Screen lit up, but nothing really chewing. Caught a couple red snappers on that stop, and they were just spitting up a lot of bait. So they were just full. We ended up coming back in, fishing that 160, 170 foot stuff, and then getting our grouper. Really, I mean, ended up getting 15, 16 red grouper per trip.
Nice. So the red grouper bite's been really good. You've been seeing some big mangroves. Any pelagics that you're seeing out there?
We had one trip where we had a bunch of the mahi show up around the boat. Unfortunately, they didn't really eat. Other than that, really haven't really been getting any of the tuna. Been getting tuna randomly here and there. Nothing crazy. Maybe one, maybe two every couple of trips. Nothing real crazy at all.
So the mahi are starting to show up. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
That water's getting hot, huh?
Oh, it's starting to. I was yesterday. I was 60 miles offshore on an 8-hour trip. Surprisingly, we had a 25 head red grouper stop, so it was very good. It was 77 degrees surface temperature, so it's warming up, but it's still not what it should be in May, which is good, which will help us.
Yeah. Hopefully that definitely stays that way. Oh, there's a manatee behind you. That's cool. Oh, don't see that a lot.
No.
Well, so you said 25 head of red grouper on an 8-hour stop that you made in about 60 miles from shore?
Yep, we fished 160. We had one stop. It was 25 head of keeper reds. We had
25 head of keeper reds.
So
holy cow.
And that was the thing, we had a bunch of them that were like 19 to 20, right at 20, but a lot of them, you know, we like to keep them at 20 and a quarter just because of the shrinkage factor and all that. The biggest red snapper that we did pull up yesterday was 37 inches. And we had a couple of them that were in the 30-inch range, and we're just ready for red snapper season. We're waiting on it.
Cool, man. Now, let's move down this way because this dang speaker. There's that manatee cruising right by that guy. I don't know if you guys can see it.
It's gonna freak him out.
They stop moving so they can see it. Yeah, that dark cloud right there. That is a manatee. That's pretty interesting. You don't always see that out here. That dude doesn't even know what's cruising by him.
He's acting up like it's freaking him out a little bit.
That's hilarious. Alright, so besides the red grouper bite, what else is notable out there? Anything?
The mangoes, I mean, it's on the 12-hour trip, a lot of people don't target the mangoes. Every spot that we're fishing has the mangoes, the bigger vermilion. People just don't target them. Everybody on our boat, we tell them, hey, look, this is what we're doing. We're going out, we're targeting the grouper. Whether or not you guys are going to get them, it's solely up to you. So we're telling them, hey, if you guys see one mango up, you come up, try changing the bait up. Try going to smaller pinfish. Try going to half sardines. Some people just want to focus on one thing, and that's what we do. I mean, on that 12-hour trip, we focused solely on the grouper, I should say.
Yeah.
And then when red snapper season comes, I'm going to be fishing minimum 180 foot. So I'll be fishing 180 to about 260 for the red snapper and the gag grouper, and it should be another good season like we had last year.
Yeah, so once red snapper season opens and you're fishing in that deeper water, red snapper, gag, scamp, all on the table there.
Yep, everything's going to be open. I mean, I got, surprisingly, I have the same guy that chartered us 3 days in a row, so we're going to, every year he charters us every first 3 days, and it's going to be a killer trip. I have a couple spots planned out, so I mean, just look for us. We're gonna come in. Hopefully Dylan's here to do a live feed for it. I know it's Saturday and he usually does his Bass Pro seminar, so I'll probably just have to do the live feed, but it should be a great trip.
Yeah, the first week of red snapper season I'll be out of town for a National Marine Fisheries meeting, but I'll be here that first weekend, so maybe we'll catch it.
Well, we'll be bringing in everything: gags, reds, scamp, red snapper, everything.
Everything except for amberjack and triggerfish.
Unfortunately, yes, and that's the sad part, but it is what it is.
Cool. Any parting tips for these guys?
Well, all I gotta say is even.
So my phone died when I was filming that video with Anthony. So his parting tip was how important it is for people to crank. You got to crank. When you feel that fish start biting, you got to put the hammer down. It's funny, I was running a trip this past week, and I was telling this guy, hey, when you feel that bite, you got to start reeling. And he's over there reeling. I'm like, no, you got to reel. You got to crank really, really fast like you mean it. And you got to just keep cranking. You cannot stop, especially when you're fishing for those bigger fish like those gag grouper, red snapper, amberjack. You have to crank like your life depends on it, as hard and as fast as you can, and put as much line in that reel as you can. And if that fish isn't on there, if that rod's not bending and that fish isn't going nuts, then stop quickly and drop it back down to bottom very quickly. A lot of times you'll get a second or third shot at those fish, but it's so important to put as many turns as fast and as hard as you can. That way you get a chance to get that fish up off the bottom. Because if you're not turning that handle, you're not going to get that fish off the bottom, and you're not going to get that fish into the boat. So super important to keep cranking and crank hard and crank fast. That was Anthony's parting tip, and that's super important as we come into gag grouper season, especially especially with monofilament, you have stretch in that line. You got to get that stretch out of that line and crank like an animal, and just start putting the hammer down. When you feel that fish start going, you got to start going twice as hard and twice as fast. But let's listen to Captain Joe here. This is our last little video we're going to show you. Then we're going to get into your questions and start answering some of your questions. How you doing, Joe?
Good.
Now, how you been doing this week? I know you've been running a lot of half days and stuff. How's the bite been out there?
It's been really good. The weather's been really, really nice. Yesterday was perfect. I had 2 half days. We're killing the grays. We actually got 2 hogfish yesterday. They were both short, but we did get a couple of hogfish. But the half day bite's been real good.
Now, on those half day trips, the half day that I ran this past week, the water was super clear. Are you seeing that all the way out there?
Yeah, definitely. We can see bottom. We were fishing around 45 feet yesterday, and you could see the difference in sand and hard bottom. It's really, really clear.
Yeah, it's almost like you can almost see the bottom pretty clearly.
Yeah, you can, for sure.
Yeah. Now, do you think that probably makes it a little tougher to get those hogfish chewing, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it can be a good thing sometimes when the water's clear, and it can sometimes be a bad thing, too. I don't think it affects the grays as much, because yesterday morning we caught probably 250 grays, but sometimes when the water's that clear, it makes it tough for the hogfish. They're a little more line shy, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like that clear water definitely let that full moon have a more negative effect, because that full moon light could penetrate more deeply into the water, and it seemed to kind of have more of an effect, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. They did that 12-hour night snapper. They caught a ton of fish, a bunch of lanes and beeliners. They had some nice mangoes, not a ton of them, but the ones they did get were real nice ones.
Yeah, that 12-hour night snapper last week, they got a ton of mangroves, like 75 of them.
Yeah.
This week, they didn't get as many mangroves, but the ones they got were bigger. But this
Right.
week, man, that was crazy how many lanes and vermilions they had.
Yeah, that was a lot of fish.
Yeah, they definitely had a lot. Box full of fish, just nothing real big.
Yeah.
Cool, man. What about the private charters a little deeper there? I know the red grouper bite's been doing something a little special, huh?
Yeah, Anthony's on the Flying Hub too. He's had quite a few 8 hours lately, and I'm kind of jealous that he's getting to get out there and get on them big groupers. But he had a trip yesterday. I talked to him, and they caught, I think they kept 13 red groupers that were all really nice sized ones. He said they got on one spot and caught probably another 8 that were keepers, but they were throwing them back fishing for bigger ones. So they probably could have limited out, but they were looking for bigger ones. The ones they brought back were really nice fish. I think they got like 13, and they were only fishing like 120-ish, maybe 130. So the red grouper bite's really good too, even closer to shore.
Yeah.
Instead of running all the way to the ground or the elbow.
It seems like those red grouper have started finally coming back in after that deep water spawn when they're out there closer to 200, 250 foot. Seems like they're starting to push in. We're starting to see them 100, 140 foot in that range.
Yeah.
Is that what you're seeing as well?
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
it's good to have them back.
We got to fly one trip Friday, 12-hour, me and Richie, so we're going to try to go get a bunch of red groupers. Probably starting like 1:30 and work our way out if we need to, but I don't think we're going to have to.
Yeah, it's amazing how the red grouper bite has definitely changed in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, by this time, we'd be drifting 40, 50 foot of water hard bottom for those red grouper.
Yeah.
And that's not what we've been able to do the last couple of years.
No, we haven't. Yeah, I remember when I first got my license, being on the hub, running out on half days, like you said, 50 feet and coming back with 6 or 8 keepers. But this year it's definitely been a little more challenging. But we're starting to see them.
Yeah, they're definitely starting to pick up for us, but you definitely just have to work a little harder at it, huh?
Yep.
There you go. All right, anything else this week?
Nope. That's it.
Just gearing up for red snapper season,
Yeah,
huh?
we're all mentally and physically prepared for snapper season. It's going to be a good one.
How about all these birds stacked in the pass right now?
It's crazy, man. The bait's been crazy around here lately.
It seems like every morning I get here, the schools of bait seem to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the snook are crazy.
Yeah, I seen one the other day just up there that was huge, dude. He had to be close to 50 inches. I mean, it's probably the biggest one I've ever seen.
A 50-inch snook.
Huge.
Hanging right there on the boardwalk.
Yeah, he was probably that big around. It was nuts.
That's crazy. A big old log, huh? There they go, the hub.
You're out.
3 people. That's going to be a good trip.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time, Joe.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right. So that was Captain Joe talking a little bit about what's been going on fishing-wise for him and how that red grouper bite is definitely picking up a little bit for us. And we've been seeing some pretty good red grouper action out there in deeper water, anywhere from 100 to about 140 foot of water. But now we're at that time in the show where we're going to start answering your questions. We had a lot of good questions asked throughout the show, and we're going to start rolling through those questions now. Don't forget, guys, we are going to give away a 10-hour all day for two people and a 5-hour half day for 2 people. And we're going to give away a 39-hour fishing trip, half price. If we get 300 live viewers, we give away a free 39-hour trip. We got up to about 220 live viewers, but then we dropped down a little bit when that 9 o'clock time frame rolled around. I assume that's all the people watching Game of Thrones. But luckily, this is the last week of Game of Thrones, and no one will be contending with this live stream show next time. But we are still going to give away a half-price 39-hour trip, so stay tuned, guys. Remember, to win those free 39-hour trips and 10-hour trips and 5-hour trips, you do have to comment on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook page at least one time. You only have to comment once. We filter out duplicative comments, so only one comment's all you need. You can watch on YouTube all you want, but you have to pop over to Facebook to at least leave one comment. But let's get into these questions. A lot of people were asking the red snapper season and what trips are best for red snapper. Everybody's excited about red snapper. Red snapper, season at Hubbard's Marina on our boats starts June 1st. So it opens June 1st at 12:01 a.m. and it runs until August 2nd at 12:01 a.m. So that means lines in the water just after midnight, June 1st, all the way to midnight on August 1st. So you have to be back at the dock by midnight, August 1st, to be legal. And that's the season at Hubbard's Marina. That's the federal for-hire season. So we are federally permitted for-hire boats, and that is our season. Now, if you're on a buddy's boat, if you're on your own boat, you're fishing during the private rec season, and that season is June 11th through July 12th. So that's the difference there. The major confusion people have, and I saw it right in the comments tonight on this video, is people ask, well, what are the regulations on this? What are the regulations on that? And then people say, go check FWC. FWC does not control federal regulations. So most of the fishing species are not listed properly on the FWC website. So the best place to get fishing information and fishing rules and regs is on our website. If you go to hubbardsmarina.com, once you're on our website, go to the Fishing Trips tab. Under the Fishing Trips tab is a bunch of helpful links like weather and different videos and fishing tips, but we also have the Fishing Rules and Regulations page. When you go to the Fishing Rules and Regulations page, there is a link to download the Fish Rules app. The Fish Rules app is what I use myself to check the app or to check the regulations when I'm unsure. But since I go to all the council meetings lately, I haven't had to check it in a really long time since I kind of stay up on what's going on. But it's still a helpful tool if you ever forget. Also, on our Fishing Rules page, we have a link to the federal fishing regulations. Federal fishing regulations are controlled by the Gulf Council. So we have the little helpful pamphlet here, and this stays up to date pretty close to what's going on. But the best thing to do is download that Fish Rules app. That Fish Rules app is definitely the best way to stay connected. But be careful, because on that Fish Rules app, there's a little thing in that upper left-hand corner when you're looking at a species of fish. It says see local or see federal. And you want to make sure if you're fishing beyond 9 miles or if you're fishing on a boat with us, you have to look at federal regulations. FWC is the local state regs. You have to look at federal regulations if you're on a federally permitted for-hire charter boat or party boat in the Gulf of Mexico. So real important to distinguish between those two things when you're looking up regulations. So another question I saw was about the Bull Bay rods. We have those custom Bull Bay rods at Hubbard's Marina. We have a full line. We have 2 spinning rods. We have 4 conventional rods. Excuse me. I'm trying to get over this sickness, and it is killing me. So we have a full line of conventionals. We have a 20 to 40 like mangrove snapper rod with red guides on it, or red thread on it. And then we have a light green wrapped 30 to 80 like red grouper, red snapper, medium gag grouper rod. And then we have the 50 to 100 dark green wrapped super big grouper rod for big gags and big amberjack. And that's the rod that Captain Anthony used last week, if you saw that video, to land that big 80, 90 pound amberjack. It was that dark green 50 to 100 pound. Now, right now, we're almost completely sold out of our Bull Bay rods, but we have a big order coming in, and we have another even bigger order behind that. So for red snapper season, we're expecting to be fully stocked up on those Bull Bay rods when you guys come in this summer in June or July for your trips. We'll have them waiting for you. And the best reel to put on those rods for like that 30 to 80 rod, I would put a Saltiga on it. For that 20 to 40 rod, maybe a Saltis would work. And then on that big 50 to 100 rod, I would put like an Accurate ATD or a big 9-aught Penn Senator. That's what I use, is a big old 9-aught ugly heavy Penn Senator. And then also an Accurate ATD is a super high-end 2-speed super crazy strong reel, or like one of those huge Talica 50s. But those 2-speed huge reels are crazy expensive, so I stick to the Penn Senator. Hopefully Daiwa will make a Saltiga that's bigger than its 50 and make one that's really, really big one day. I keep asking them at every iCast, and hopefully they'll come out with one soon, but we'll see. Another question I saw was about those pompano, that big African pompano. Are pompano good eaten, and why don't we see them on menus, and are they rare to catch? All great questions. African pompano are very good eaten. I love them. They taste great. Very similar to the smaller pompano, but with any fish, the bigger they get, in my opinion, they get a little bit less quality texture to them. They get a little hard. Their meat gets a little harder. It's not as soft and buttery as they get bigger. So I prefer, in my opinion, to get smaller fish whenever I'm going to eat fish. But that's me. You don't see African pompano on menus because they're controlled in the Gulf of Mexico by FWC, so they're not under federal management, and they're not really highly sought after because there hasn't been big numbers of African pompano in the past, but we're definitely seeing more African pompano in the last couple years than we have in the past, and they definitely seem to be becoming more prolific, so maybe that might change. I would like to see them managed under federal regulations because right now the state of Florida has an archaic 2 fish per boat limit, and vessel limits stink when you're on a party boat with 20, 30 other people. When you're on a little boat with your buddy or a 6-pack boat, two big African pompano, that's a good amount of fish. When you're on a boat with 30 or 40 other people and you catch 30 African pompano and you have to throw 28 of them back, it kind of stinks. So I would rather see them move to a bag limit on African pompano with maybe a minimum size limit under federal management. But that's a whole different video to talk about regulations. But definitely you don't see them on menus because there's no commercial market for them, because there's no spot where you can go out there and target African pompano and catch them consistently. Now, I have a bunch of spots. Captain Anthony has a bunch of spots. All our captains have a bunch of spots where we know that we've caught African pompano and we catch them fairly regularly, but it's not something that you can produce all the time, all year round. But typically we catch African pompano while we're fishing for mangrove snapper, and typically you catch them up off the bottom. You notice that Milos or Mickey and that big African pompano, he caught it on a chicken rig, and it was higher up on that chicken rig. It's probably because that fish ate that bait that was hanging up off the bottom. I caught my biggest African pompano. I was on a charter and I had some clients on board, and I was fishing because the clients were pretty self-sufficient, so I was getting to fish with them too. It was a night snapper trip. We were crushing big mangroves and yellowtail snapper like 60 miles from shore on the Flying Hub 1, and the client got a little backlash on his reel, so I reeled up from the bottom about 10 cranks, put my rod in the rod holder, turned around and helped the client, and by the time I had turned back to my rod, it was doubled over, peel and drag, and it ended up being a big African pompano. I was like, so I dropped down, did the same thing, hit the bottom, reeled up about 10 cranks, and bang, caught another African pompano. So that's what I've been doing for them. When I know there's African pompano down there, I grab my mangrove snapper setup with my double Snell rig and my thread fin plug, drop it down to bottom, and I reel up a couple cranks, and it seems to work really well for them. A lot of guys catch African pompano using vertical jigs as well, the smaller vertical jigs, but they typically hang up above the water or up above the bottom, kind of more of a semi-pelagic species. They're down towards the bottom, but they're not right on the bottom. It's kind of a unique fish. And the other question is, are they rare? They're pretty rare. We don't run into them all year round. We don't run into them on every trip. They're typically deeper. We have caught them on half days, but they're mostly smaller African pompanos on the half days. But most of the time we run into the big ones, and we run in them more consistently once you're past about 120, 140 foot of water. closer to 160, 180. That's where we see a lot of African pompano. So they're deeper water fish, and we catch them in the spring and summer and fall most often. Another question we had was what trips for red snapper? For red snapper season, what trips do we recommend? The best trips, in my opinion, are for red snapper would be the 12-hour night snapper, or excuse me, not the 12-hour night snapper. The 12-hour extreme trip would be one of the best trips for red snapper, or the 39-hour trip, or the 44-hour trip. The thing is, the 44-hour trip is a full moon trip, so we only run one of those a month. So we only have two during red snapper season in June and July, and those are both completely sold out. So really the best options left on the table would be a 12-hour extreme trip or a 39-hour trip for red snapper. Keep in mind, on a 39-hour trip, you got 20 hours of fishing time and a 2-day bag limit. For a 12-hour extreme trip, you got 7 to 8 hours fishing time and a single-day bag limit. The 12-hour extreme and the 39-hour fishes similar depths in similar areas. So just the 39-hour gives you more fishing time, and you're able to take more fish home after the trip. But if you don't have time for a 39-hour, the 12-hour extreme is a great route to go down. You could also do private charters on the Flying Hub 1 or Flying Hub 2. The Flying Hub 2 is pretty fully booked. I don't think there's a single day open in June on the Flying Hub 2 for private charter. But we do have Flying Hub 1 private charter options, and that boat is just as fast as the Flying Hub 2, and it's super unique, just like the Flying Hub 2. And that boat can get you out there and do the same fishing, same depth, same areas as the Flying Hub 2, and it's a lot cheaper because it burns a lot less fuel. Still twin engine, but it's inboard diesels, and they sip the fuel compared to the twin outboards that the Flying Hub 2 do. Those things suck down the fuel, so definitely a lot cheaper to take the Flying Hub 1 on a private charter. Now, another question I saw was about glow jigs. Do glow jigs work at night? The 12-hour night snapper, the 39-hour trip, the 44-hour trip, or a private charter all give you options to fish at night. And glow-in-the-dark vertical jigs do seem to work pretty well for those pelagic species, especially tuna. See a lot of blackfin tuna caught on those striped slow pitch glow-in-the-dark jigs. We have those new Daiwa SK slow pitch jigs, and those are a great option for jigging at night for some of those tuna, also kingfish, and even snapper and grouper along the bottom too. So yes, glow-in-the-dark vertical jigs, especially the slow pitch jigs, they do work pretty well at night for catching those fish and enjoying some fresh caught fish. But I think it's that time in the show. We still got more questions. We're still going to answer more questions. But I think it's that time in the show where we need to give away a free trip to keep you guys on your toes. So we're going to give away the 5-hour half day for 2 first. Then we're going to give away a 10-hour all day for 2. Then we're going to give away a 39-hour trip. We're not going to do them all at once. I'm going to finish answering the questions and stuff before we finish the giveaways. But we're going to do the 5-hour half day for 2 right now. So let's see who won the 5-hour half day for 2 guests. And the winner is Ryan Smith with the comment of hello. Very, very unique comment there, Ryan. But hey, it works. And Ryan Smith just won himself a 5-hour half day for 2. Now, keep in mind, if you do win a free trip, you do have to shoot us a message on our Hubbard's Marina Facebook page or email me at Captain CAPT Hubbard at hubbardsmarina.com within an hour or 2 of the show, and shoot me your full home address, and I will send you out those free trip certificates. It doesn't count if you wait until like a day later and contact me, because that tells me you weren't watching the show live. You have to be watching the show live to win those free trips. But I don't often have people that don't claim those free trips. But congrats, Ryan. Let's get into the rest of these questions and answer the rest of y'all's questions. Another question was, how long will the full moon affect fishing? full moons, new moons, moon phases in general have a significant effect on the fishing. And the full moon typically starts affecting the fishing 2, 3, 4 days ahead of it, and it affects the fishing 2, 3, 4 days behind it. Now, if it's really, really cloudy, that full moon will have less of effect on fishing, and the effect that the fishing feels will be much shorter. But if it's super clear skies and not cloudy, that full moon definitely has a stronger effect that seems to last longer. Now, this full moon, we had super clear waters near shore and we had super clear skies, and that allowed that fishing to be greatly affected. Ahead of that full moon, we had killer fishing during the day. I think the full moon was like Friday or Saturday, and Wednesday, Thursday was killer daytime fishing. We had great nighttime fishing there Wednesday, Thursday night, and into Friday. The fishing was pretty good Friday too, but then it kind of slowed down a little bit for us towards the end of the night Friday. Saturday night was good nighttime fishing, but it definitely slowed down Saturday night. So always ahead of that full moon, a day or two is when the fishing is best at night, and 2 or 3 days ahead of that full moon is when the fishing is best during the day. Now, on the back side of the full moon, the fishing can kind of be slow on the day of the full moon and a day or two after it, and then it starts slowly getting better again. On the new moon, the reverse is true. The daytime fishing typically is pretty darn good on a new moon, especially 1 or 2 days ahead of that new moon. And then 1 or 2 days after that new moon, the daytime fishing gets really good as well. The nighttime fishing not as good as on a new moon, because those fish don't have any moonlight to feed with. So definitely want to look at the moon phases when you go fishing. And on the subject of moon phases, we actually just added something to our website that I think you guys are going to really like. So when you're on our website, hubbardsmarina.com, you click fishing trips. Under the fishing trips tab is the weather links page. So even if you're not fishing with us, even if you're fishing on your own boat or whatever, the weather links page is a great tool for you guys to utilize. Not only do we have the NOAA forecast, the wind finder forecast, the buoys, but now we have added a new section. This is a brand new section we added today. This is the tide and solunar information. This website called Tides, the number 4, Fishing, Tides for Fishing, is something that a friend showed me, and I really, really, really like it, and I've really started to use it, and it shows you a lot of good information. I'm going to show you the Johns Pass buoy here real quick. Shows you wind, temperature, shows you different times of day, sunny, temperature, all that kind of stuff. Shows you water temperatures, shows you wave height, significant wave height, wave periods, and it shows you the tide for that day, and it shows you the high solunar activity and low solunar activity times. And it shows the tidal coefficients. It shows a tide table for the whole month and what days of that month are going to have better fishing. And you can see here around that full moon is when that fish action was the best. And then you scroll down and you have the major and minor salunars listed too. So this new website that's listed on our weather links page is a really cool tool to start utilizing. And if you're a Salt Strong Insider member, they have that new tool called Strike Score. If you're not a Salt Strong Insider member, I would check it out, especially if you're interested in learning more about inshore fishing spots and inshore fishing techniques and inshore fishing videos and stuff like that. Salt Strong Insider Club is really great. Plus, I do a lot of offshore stuff on there, so it's really cool in that respect too. But Salt Strong created this new thing called Strike Score. So all that tool, all that information I just went over, tidal coefficient, moon phases, salunars, all that, they compiled into an algorithm. And on that Strike Score thing, you can drop a pin on the map of where you want to fish, and it will give you a 0 to 10 rating of how the fishing will be in that area that day that you choose. So it's a really cool way for you to choose what day is best for you to go fishing. Now, this is geared towards inshore fishing for now. We're trying to develop it to go offshore as well, but that's going to take a little bit more work. But Salt Strong's definitely doing some really cool stuff on that front. So I figured you guys might be interested in that information. Another question we saw was, how is Bob Harbison doing? Bob Harbison is doing great. For those of you guys who don't know, Bob Harbison is the one who does all the videos on our 39-hour trips, and he edits a lot of the videos on our 39-hour trips and produces them for us and stuff like that. So a lot of people know that Bob wasn't doing well there for a couple months, but Bob's doing fine, and he's been making a lot of videos. So if you've been missing Bob's videos, it's probably just because we've been uploading more videos recently to our YouTube page, so you just missed it. But if you go to YouTube and go to search and you type in Hubbard's Marina, you can find our channel real easily by looking for our logo. Once you're on our channel, you can just hit videos, and you can see all his 39-hour videos. You just got to look for the 39-hour long-range videos. So Hubbard's Marina 39-hour report, 39-hour overnight videos. But Bob's videos have been getting a lot of views. That one's got 2,300 views. This one's got 1,300 views. And his videos have gotten super long because we've got these new GoPro videos. So with the GoPros and Bob, not only is Bob taking video in the back with his video camera, but we've also got John, Will, Jason, Cliff, everybody running around with GoPros. So Bob's 8, 10, 12-minute videos have turned into 20, 25, 30-minute videos. We're getting those trimmed down. He's going to start making multiple videos instead of making longer ones. So we're definitely working on that. But Bob does a great job, and he's a very valuable part of the team, and we're very happy to have him back. So really cool to have Bob back. He's doing well, to answer your question, Mike. Another question I saw, will the galley cook your catch during the trip? Technically, that is legal, but also it's a very big gray area, and we have avoided that recently. It's totally legal, and we've done it in the past. We used to do it all the time, and we've recently stopped doing it because we had a customer kind of complain about it, even though it was totally legal. We don't want anybody to think that we're doing anything illegal. We work really hard at the National Marine Fisheries meetings, at the Gulf Council meetings, at the FWC meetings to promote healthy, sustainable fishery and conservation, and we work really hard to have a good reputation on that front. We don't want anybody out here thinking that we're not doing that. So we no longer will cook your catch on the boat. Unless you're on a private charter and it's you and your private group, and then in that case, we don't have to worry about anybody getting the wrong idea. But it is legal to have up to like a half pound or something of fillets per person on the boat for personal consumption. So you can fillet a fish, but it's a very big gray area, and I don't recommend doing it. And if you do it, keep the carcass of the fish and keep the skin of the fish. That way, if you're boarded while you're grilling a fish on the grill, you can prove to the boarding officer what species of fish it was and that it was legal size. That's what we do. We keep the carcass, we keep the skins until we're done, and the fish is done, we're done eating it, then we get rid of it. So that way we can prove it was legal if we were to get boarded while we're cooking fish. But we don't do it anymore, to answer your question. What is the best time of year for mangrove snapper? Someone asked. That's another great question. My favorite time of year for snapper fishing is the summertime when the water is hot, starting around May all the way through September, or beginning of September, really. September can kind of slow down a little bit. That is a great time for snapper, lane snapper, mangrove snapper, yellowtail snapper, red snapper. Those snapper species spawn in the summer when the water is hot, and that's when we catch a ton of those snapper. But the question I saw was, when's the best time of year for big snapper, big mangrove snapper? And we see a lot of big mangrove snapper in the cooler months because there's less snapper around. They're less prolific, so most of what we catch are bigger mangrove snapper, but we don't catch them as often. Like this December, January, February, we were catching monster mangrove snapper. December is one of the months that we caught the biggest mangrove. It was almost 12 pounds. And that's just because there's less overall mangrove snapper action. You don't have those small, hungry, very aggressive mangroves to contend. So you get a lot bigger mangroves because there's just big ones hanging around. All the small ones are less active that time of year. That's my guess, at least. And we seem to catch bigger mangrove snapper in the cooler months, but we catch more snapper volume in the warmer months. But let's give away another free trip. So we're going to give away a 10-hour all day for 2 guests. 10-hour all day for 2 guests. Hopefully they're paying attention. Tiffany Brown, 10-hour all day for 2 guests for Tiffany Brown. Don't forget, guys, we're still going to give away a 39-hour fishing trip, or half off a 39-hour fishing trip. So instead of $369, only going to be about $180. So real good option to stay tuned for that. But we still have a few more questions to answer here too. The other question was, what is better, a 12-hour extreme or a 39-hour trip? Well, they're kind of the same trip. They fish the same area, the same depth of water, the same similar fishing spots. But the 12-hour extreme is on a go fast boat. We leave at 5 a.m. We're back at 5 p.m. that same day. So you basically get a 39-hour quality trip, but you're home in time for dinner. Whereas the 39-hour trip, we leave on a Tuesday or a Friday or a Sunday, and we come back 2 days later at 6 a.m. So on a Friday trip, you leave at 3 p.m., you're back 6 a.m. Sunday. You get 20 hours of fishing time. You get nighttime fishing. You get the sunrise bite. You get the daytime fishing. And a lot of times you'll get that dusk and even sometimes that sunset bite. So definitely the 39-hour trip is unique in that respect. Plus, you get that 2-day bag limit, too. So 39-hour trip's pretty hard to compare, but the 12-hour extreme is a great way to get out there fast, get to deep water, and enjoy great fishing and still be home in time for dinner. Last question I saw back when we were doing the videos was on Penn Fathom reels, the Penn Fathom 2-speed reels. If you're looking for a 2-speed and you want it the best value, lowest price, Penn Fathom is a good option. Myself, I really don't like Penn. I had some bad experiences with their customer service at some of the fishing shows. Their reps were just totally I don't even want to say it because of how it makes me feel. But Daiwa, I've always had a great experience with Daiwa. Daiwa's products have always been super reliable. They seem to only be getting better. I really like Daiwa. So the Daiwa Saltist 2-speed, if you're looking at a Penn Fathom 2-speed, compare it to a Daiwa Saltist. It's worth the extra money, and we offer a discount when you book a trip for us, so it's almost the same price, and it's a better quality product in my mind, and it's backed by better quality customer service, and that's worth the extra money in my mind as well. Then the Daiwa Saltiga is the higher end 2-speed reel, and that is really worth the money as well. Solid frame reel, all one piece of metal, super strong. The Daiwa Saltist is a great reel. The Daiwa Saltiga is the Saltist on steroids. Lot stronger, lot smoother, and a little bit better at pulling in those bigger fish. So I really prefer the Daiwa products, but Accurate makes really good products. I love the Accurate line. Shimano Talica is awesome, but Shimano Talica, you might as well just throw your wallet in the water when you're going to the tackle shop to buy one of those, because it's the same. A Shimano Talica is the same product essentially as a Saltiga, but it's literally twice the price. Like a Shimano Talica 16 is $700, where you can buy the Shimano or the Daiwa Saltiga in our shop for, what's it for? Yeah, like $450. It's $499 retail in our shop, but you get 10% off when you book a trip, so it's like $460, whereas the Shimano Talica is almost $700, more than $700, and you can't even buy them at most tackle shops because you have to be a high-end Shimano dealer to carry them. So that's how I feel about that. But we still have a free a half price 39-hour trip to give away here, guys. But before we do that, we want to make some announcements here. We uploaded our latest Bass Pro Shop seminars. The last two Bass Pro Shop seminars I did are getting updated to our website here in the next day or two. So if you enjoy our live stream shows, you want to learn a little bit more about fishing, if you're new to nearshore and offshore fishing, you can check out our website, hubbardsmarina.com. Under fishing trips, there's the fishing tips and tricks page with a ton of helpful short videos. There's the Bass Pro Fishing Seminars page with all our past Bass Pro Shops fishing seminars. They're typically about an hour long, where I'm answering questions of people, and really, really good sorts of information there. Plus, we upload all our past live Q&A shows on our website as well. So tons of video there for you to watch and get caught up on more fishing tips and tricks from us here at Hubbard's Marina. Now, also, don't forget, this Friday, we're back on Fox 13. We have a Fox 13. We have a news TV show now, thanks to you guys and all your support. We're on TV every Friday, 8:30 a.m. on Fox 13. During the Good Day Tampa Bay show, we have a segment called Good Catch. You want to get on the news? You want your fishing photo on the news? Submit it to me. All you have to do is email me your photo at C as in cat, A as in alpha, P as in Paul, T as in Tom, captain abbreviated, CAPT, Hubbard at hubbardsmarina.com. That's my email address. Email me your photo. Tell me what bait you caught it on, what the tide was doing, the time of day. If you want to give some general area information, that'd be cool too. But send me your photo, send me your full name, a little bit about what you caught it on and how you caught it, and I'll include you in our fishing report. We email our fishing report out every Friday. We post it to our website. The Lakeland Ledger, some of the newspapers and magazines print our fishing reports, and then we're going to feature it on the news too. So send us your fishing photos and fishing information, and we'll make you famous. Inshore fishing photos are what I need. We have plenty of nearshore and offshore fishing photos, but redfish, snook, trout, we don't catch those on our charter boats and party boats. So if you get any of inshore fish, feel free to share them with me, and I'll add them to that Fox 13 show we do every Friday morning. Last but not least, our last announcement here, guys. Again, we are going to be off the next 2 weeks. We're not going to be having this live stream show, but I want to make sure you guys stay in tune, because June 9th is our next one. So go to Facebook and go to our Hubbard's Marina Facebook page, and all you do is type into the search bar Hubbard's Marina, and once you do that, you'll find our page. Once you're at our page, you can click events, and you can see the next live fishing conversation seminars, because they only let me put a year full of event dates in here, and then they cut it off. So this is our last event date on this event link. So now we've created a new event link that I need you guys to go click going or click interested. I'm going to pop the link into the comments for both Facebook and YouTube. So make sure you guys click on that after we give away this half price 39-hour trip, and click going or click interested on that event for me, so that way you guys can stay tuned to any updates. Oops, switch back to webcam. So that way you can stay tuned to any updates, and make sure that I keep you informed as to any things going on with that live show. Plus you get a reminder as well, so always helpful to have a reminder. Also, don't forget, we have our super light 39-hour fishing trips coming up this Tuesday. We've only got like 16 or 17 people. This Friday, we have a super light 39-hour trip, just a couple people on it as well. So if you're ready for some long-range fishing, this is the week to do it. Tons of fish out there to be catch. Pelagics, grouper, snapper. We're catching them a lot, and we're catching plenty. So come out and join us, and it's a great trip to flatline, vertical jig, knocker rig, because there's no one on the boat. So great opportunity to get out there and enjoy a light load before the chaos of red snapper season ensues and that boat is full. So come join us this week. Remember, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too busy. And I think it's time to give away a half-price 39-hour trip to all you guys that hung in there with me through the show tonight. Apologize again for being a little late. June 9th will be our next live stream show. I hope to see you there. Hopefully we'll see you this Friday for our Fox 13 show that we'll be doing around 8:30 a.m. So let's see who won a half-price 39-hour fishing trip. Let's see. Drum roll, please. Half-price 39-hour trip. Alan Crow. Alan, you won a 39-hour trip at half price. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you spending your Sunday night with me. I'll see you June 9th for another live stream show. Don't forget to check our page. Every morning we do a short little fishing and weather and update video almost every morning on our Facebook and YouTube video pages as well. Make sure to like our page, subscribe to us on YouTube, and come out and join us for some fishing, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for watching tonight. You guys are the best. I hope to see you soon at Hubbard's Marina, guys.